Yeah, give me a chicken nugget. That's pretty good. Oh, shit. Hi there, everyone. Welcome back to On the Flip Side. My name is Adam Schoenwalker, your host, and today we're going to be checking out this new EP from Suki Waterhouse, Milk Teeth. Suki Waterhouse first came on my radar after seeing her open for Father John Misty during his last US tour. And in a live setting, I thought she did a pretty brilliant job. Excellent performer, great stage presence, and charismatic to top it all off. So I had been wondering, where did she come from exactly? And lo and behold, she's been a model since 2000 and has had numerous acting roles. Which is fine, and maybe she's just incredibly multifaceted, but if being in the public spotlight since 16 years old turns to starting a music career at 30 doesn't scream industry plant to you, then I don't know what does. And this becomes more noticeable the closer you look at Suki's work, which pretty much ends up in the I'm 15 years old and this is deep area of music. I listened to this EP and the only thing that I can think about is how nothing in any of these tracks jumps out in a positive way. It's washed out, reverb-heavy tracks that are rooted in early to mid-90s alternative heroin rock and maybe some light touches of shoegaze just with how noisy some of the production gets here. And it is weird listening to this because if this had come from like some no-name artist who didn't already have a large following from other sources, I'm pretty confident that this EP wouldn't really make much of a splash at all. It is frustrating that these tracks that are about as sturdy as a balsa wood shack are able to shoulder through the competition and gain millions of listens. Because as it sits, this EP is totally milquetoast. It is not particularly awful, but it is generally unremarkable, forgettable, and inspired only by seemingly the weakest modern pillow pop that would accompany tapestries and Christmas lights as decoration in a home where smoking cigarettes indoors is totally cool. And I said before that the performances in a live setting were good, and that is true, but on this EP, Suki's singing is just kind of all over the place. I think her best work on this thing is probably on Valentine, which is one of the most hideously marketable songs I've ever heard. And as a result of theming for this song just being so vapid, it makes the vocal work just seem thoughtless. And that does end up being the highlight for the vocals. Past that, the opener, Neon Signs, has this terrible noisy filter over Suki's voice that sounds kind of like they're trying to create like a grungy psych rock layer that paired with Suki's light floaty delivery is bland at best. And it almost feels like a response to her weak vocal work. I can't really imagine how this track would sound without these effects because it probably wouldn't be great. On top of that, the lyrical work is not much better with some really dry lines where Suki is gonna follow the neon signs into your heart. Some mad lad 16-year-old is gonna put this thing on and get his first sloppy toppy from some airhead to this track. Good Looking is another love song. Lyrics are again nothing to write home about and the vocal work is okay, but she has some really rough highs that honestly might just be a result of her accent, but I think that just most of this is pretty rough. Johanna is interesting because it really shows their dedication to making every instrument on this thing just sound as awfully saturated with reverb as possible because they absolutely blast apart this piano part that would actually be okay if it just didn't sound so bad. I do like some of the whispered vocal lines here. They do add a little bit of flair, a little bit of depth, but past that, it's just like Suki is only hitting one register and uses the same cadence through the whole track. I mean, it is pop, but I think there's plenty of other pop artists that are usually not as good as this that get more adventurous with their delivery. Coolest Place in the World is really close to being really great. The backing track for this one is genuinely pretty good, but the vocal work and lyrics are just so needlessly melodramatic. This could have been way more interesting, but instead, this track is just very self-insistent. It is so troubled, it needs to get across how fucked up she is, which I get, you know, there's plenty of better ways to get that across than being as blunt as possible, which seems to be the approach here. Also, you're a 30-year-old model. What the fuck is this even about? Brutally is okay as far as a singer-songwriter sound goes, though again, the reverb is just way too heavy on this song. As a result, it sounds like shit. There really is a time and a place for deep reverb, and on every single track, all of the time is not the place. It genuinely makes listening to this album a headache at most points. So, are there things that I like here? Yeah, but it's really basic stuff. I like her voice at certain parts. I think the arrangements are good. I just don't think that there's anything particularly exceptional about this record. This project seems to actively step away from being something that has any semblance of real creativity. Sure, you need some technical ability to sing or play guitar or whatever, but this entire EP is some of the most dry, soulless music that I've heard in quite a while. And again, I can't really confirm it past the obvious career change, but this seems to me like an industry move, like she has gotta be a plant. Dress her up, make her look pretty, make sure she can at least somewhat sing, wind her up, and watch her go. Here's your check. Anyway, Milk Teeth as an EP is incredibly underwhelming. I'm thinking this one is a solid 4. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what you thought of this album in the comments below, and remember to like and subscribe. And if you like what I'm doing here, drop a tip in the PayPal. Check out my Instagram, my Reverb, and my Depop. Thank you all so much again, and we'll see you on the flip side.